Call this meeting to order of the Bloomington Commission on Sustainability and Resilience at 6 p.m. And we'll take the roll call. Tara Dunderdale.
Here.
Here. Justin Vassell. I'm here. Rebecca Payne.
Here.
Here. Christopher Miles.
Here.
And just a reminder, you'll have to turn on your video as well.
I have to keep the video on?
Just when you're responding or voting on something. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So you're here. We got you. You can go back on video mute for now. Thank you. Zach Ammerman. Here. Here. Councilmember Ralla.
Here.
Here. Quentin Gilly.
He is just coming in to Zoom.
Perfect. I'll circle back to him. Alex York.
Here.
Here. Maria Arstad.
Here.
Here. Diana Ogrodowski.
Here.
Here. And Ross Carlson.
Here.
Here. And back to Quentin Gilly. And I see your
This
microphone.
is Quentin. I'm here too, by the way. I'll be there in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
I'm on my way.
That sounds good. We got you.
Avenue.
Virtual soon
Thank you.
to be present. Got it. Perfect. Okay, great. Well, everybody is here in one way or another, so that's great. Okay, so we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, corrections anyone wants to make to the agenda?
Do we want to just have like a standing thing where we move the staff liaison report up, or we don't need to?
We can do that each time if we want. Until we change the bylaws, it has to get structured this way initially, but we can always rearrange it here during the approval process, so we're welcome to. Did you have a report from today?
Nothing super substantial. It'll take like 30 seconds to say.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'll leave it up to the group if
We
people
can just
want
leave
to-
it where it is then, I guess, if it's
yeah.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, so hearing no proposed changes, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Okay, perfect. We'll go through a roll call vote since we have some virtual folks with us. So Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Ralla?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. All right, the agenda is approved. So that brings us to the approval of the minutes for April 14th, 2026, which was our last regular meeting. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Okay, not hearing any. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from April 14th?
So moved.
So moved in a second?
Second.
Perfect. All right, we'll go through the roll call vote to approve the minutes from April 14th. Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Did you say me?
Yes. Yep. Up. Yep. You're up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Ralla?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. All right. The minutes are approved as circulated. And like I mentioned in my email, we had some notes from our special session on the 28th, but they weren't formally minutes yet. So we'll approve those at our next meeting once we. Oh no, you're good. You're good. That was mostly on me for just blindly sending it out.
I have the list of students that spoke. If you need
Okay,
that, I
cool,
can
yeah.
send that to you.
Perfect. Okay, so that brings us to public comment. Is there anyone of the public who would like to address the commission? We'll start here in the room and then we'll go to Zoom if there's anyone there. So, yeah, please introduce yourself to the commission for the record, please.
Matthew Austin. The comment I wanted to make is the resolution around glyphosate, since I'm the author of it and I'm no longer on the commission. With everything we learned, I would pull it off because it doesn't, with everything we learned, it doesn't make sense. It makes more sense to focus on paraquat and the ball fields. So either postpone it indefinitely or just vote it down. I did send a resolution around glyphosate and paraquat, and I'm going to send that to MC Iris and all the others that were here that presented. So that's one thing. And then two, what is it? Wonder Lab has their beginning summer blast off May 21st from 3 to 8. They're going to have food trucks there, and Garden Quest has a worm composting system there. They are also going to start collecting. Wonder Lab is starting bokashi, and they're going to start teaching bokashi. In September, we're going to be doing a training around bokashi food-based fermentation. Garden Quest just had one out at Will Detmer Community Gardens, had I think 11 or 12 households, and 9 of them adopted or at least started the Try It program around that food waste. And then there's a workshop on June 6th, July 12th, August 8th, I don't know when the September one is, and October 11th. So I'd encourage anybody that wants to be responsible fully for their food waste and to learn how to turn it into soil quickly to look on either Garden Quest website, gardenquest.org, or the Community Orchards website. That's typically where they're going to be. So, thank you.
Cool, nice, thanks. It's strange to see you on the other side of the room, but glad that you're here. Thank you for the comment. Okay, moving to online. I don't see anyone online from the public, and there's nobody else here in the room, so that will conclude the public comment portion. Okay, so that brings us to commissioner reports. I didn't send around a chair's report this time. There's not a whole lot that's changed aside from the org chart. So we have a new commissioner with us today, and that's Rebecca Payne. And so in a moment, I'll ask her to just introduce herself and say a few words. This is not technically her first meeting, because technically the April 28th special session was, so that was a interesting way to just dive right in. Yeah, we don't usually meet in the big room, but that was exciting. But other than that, not a whole lot of changes. Yeah, I've got it on the agenda to chat a little bit about sort of like finding times to do like working group type stuff, or not working group, but like working session type stuff, kind of like we used to do, trying to figure out what that might look like or whether there's a need for that or a desire for that. So normally that kind of thing would go maybe in the chair's report, but it's got its own section there. So not a whole lot else to share at the moment. Does anyone have any questions for me?
How many seats are open right now? 2?
3, I believe.
3? Okay.
Okay. Seeing no other questions. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me allow Rebecca here to introduce herself to the commission. So.
Sure. Hey, everyone. Yep, I'm Rebecca Payne. I'm a Hoosier, tried and true. Grew up in Indianapolis. Skipped over to Colorado for 2 decades. Over there, I got my degree in urban and regional planning. And then in 2019, moved back to Bloomington to care for my aging parents, and got a degree in public health. And so I have a huge interest in sort of the intersection of urban planning and public health, especially as it relates to community wellness and vitality. And so this commission is very appealing to me. I'm impressed with the work that I see, the initiatives and input that I see has been given over time. So when I saw that there was a spot open, I thought, hey, I'm gonna see where it goes. So I'm really, really happy to be here, and was very impressed with last month's special meeting with the IU students. I thought that was a very high caliber delivery. So
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, that'll conclude it for my report, so I'll pass it over to Councilmember Rowell for the council report.
Okay, a couple things. One is the council unanimously approved the Hopewell development, Hopewell South, which is the 6.3 acres last week. And we had a number of reasonable conditions, some involving streetscape, wider sidewalks, street plots, and so forth. The important thing about affordability is that of the 98 units, we required 35% for permanent affordability. 15% of those units are to be affordable for households earning at or below 90% of AMI, area medium income, and then 20% must be affordable to households at or below 120% AMI. So the council worked hard to get to that point, and I think it was a worthwhile process. And some of us would have liked a higher percentage of affordability. I would have liked lower AMI. Maybe it's something to consider in further iterations of the remaining 17, 18 acres of Hopewell that will be coming further on. So that's one thing. Another is that tomorrow night is a deliberation session of the council, and we'll be discussing snow on sidewalks and the removal. And it's been a perpetual problem, and of course for pedestrians it's an obstacle after snowstorms that seems to be continual, and so we need to think of ways in which we can make sure enforcement occurs, or help with people that have trouble, with snow removal, etc. It's very important that the city remove snow on the sidewalks that it controls, so that's part of the discussion. So invite you to come tomorrow for that, 6:30. And then lastly, I've been actually actively working on an interest that I think you share, which is AI and artificial intelligence. Just briefly, the county put a moratorium, Planning Commission on the county put a moratorium on data centers for a year, and that expires in July of this year. I would like to encourage our county colleagues to put a permanent moratorium on data centers, and this is happening around the country, and I think that there's, without going into detail about the reasons why, you can probably find those out online, but they use tremendous amounts of water for cooling, because any sort of computational process produces a lot of heat. Uses tremendous amounts of electricity, which drive up rates and so forth. And ironically, most of this is going toward development of generative AI, LLMs, and eventually AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is meant to replace people, which is a problem of its own. The second thing that I'm working on is a resolution for moratorium we can't enforce it, but it's rhetorical, a resolution to encourage our representatives at higher levels to adopt moratoria on AGI, artificial general intelligence, which would replace people in every cognitive domain. So anything a person can do cognitively, AGI would match or exceed that capability. And that's going to have a lot of effects on, obviously, employment, but it would likely lead to superintelligence. And there's a lot of warnings right now from AI experts that once we achieve superintelligence of AI, it's anyone's guess what would happen, because we would be the second most intelligent species on the planet, in a sense, silicon-based species. But in any case, it could likely compete with us. We would probably lose control of it, and some AI safety researchers warned that it could result in our extinction, simply because it would either outcompete us, or it would see it as an enemy, an adversary. Although it sounds like sci-fi, I mean, this is a very real possibility, and the AI firms in Silicon Valley are racing toward AGI. It's an explicit goal of theirs, and of course, hundreds of billions of dollars are pouring in investment capital to see that happens. So maybe it's a discussion for a further day. I would like to bring that resolution in June. Maybe I'm thinking of June 10th, so I don't know when our next meeting is. It's probably
June 9th.
June 9th, so the day before. So maybe a few minutes I could have at that meeting,
Yeah.
if you're interested, if it's to your liking. I could go through that resolution, maybe send it through email, like your comments on it. I think that's it. That's all I've got to report right now. Thanks.
Alex?
Do we know of there been any hyperscalers or anybody who have been interested in building a data center in Monroe County?
I haven't seen any overtures to the fact that they're popping up
Yeah.
especially in Indianapolis area, and a number of counties here have been banning them. I think the mayor has, in Indianapolis, has encouraged them.
Yeah, I don't know about the source of this, but I think Monrovia is
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
that.
totally like getting scouted for.
Monrovia.
It's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
everywhere, yeah.
kind of between Monrovia and Martinsville, I think.
There's one in Washington, Indiana too, that they were trying to build, which south of here, so.
Yeah.
But none in Monroe County that I know.
Okay.
Yet.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seems like it's only a matter of time.
It's no better to be surrounded by it.
Right, well,
Definitely
true.
worth.
No sense in working on it until the moratorium's up, so.
Yeah.
You know, just as an aside, there's one in Louisiana that's the size of Manhattan.
Yeah.
It's developed by Meta.
Yeah. I mean, the one that they're planning to do in Utah would use more power than the entire state of Utah.
Yeah.
By like a set by, anyway.
Yeah.
By a large margin, it's not, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally crazy.
I have a different question. Is the deliberative session, does that include a public comment period?
Yeah, we have some thoughts
Yes.
on that.
I have
I'm
thought,
quite sure.
I was, before
Yeah.
things happened in my life, I had a resolution I was working on for this commission about snow on sidewalks.
Oh, good.
And I have some thoughts on some ways I'd like to look at the data in the U report.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, please come or
Yeah.
Zoom in or, you know,
Okay.
but yeah, we'll have public comment. Yeah.
Great.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that Monroe County had a moratorium on that. It's something that, just in chatting with people, was something that we were sort of interested in looking at for a resolution, was to try to get ahead of any prospective data centers coming here and say, maybe city council should pass something like that. But so that's good news. I didn't know that Monroe County had done that. And yeah, it would be good to encourage them to re-up it. Do you know how long it was? You said it's expiring in July, but
Something about, I think the date is July 26th, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's coming soon.
Yeah.
Expiration on that, but, you know, some states like Michigan have banned the ability for counties to put in moratoria.
Yeah.
You can deny data centers, but only, you know, as a zoning.
Sure.
You can't proactively put a moratorium,
Right.
unfortunately. And by the way, something else, just quickly.
Yeah.
In the big beautiful bill, there was a provision that would have prevented any state or local authorities from prohibiting data centers.
Yeah.
And fortunately, that was carved out by the Senate with a vote of 99-1, which was, you know, bipartisan, a good sign. So, anyway, we have sympathies in some quarters. Okay.
I had a question about the Hopewell stuff, because I know one of the blockers for a period of time was this like reasonable accommodations, or is that what it's called? Reasonable
Condition.
Yeah, thank you. Where did things land on that? Because I know that there was some back and forth between what was allowed and what wasn't. How did that end up?
Yeah, so that was a dispute between the administration and the council that took a couple meetings to resolve. It came at a bad time because we didn't have any council staff. Our attorney had resigned. And so we had to hire an outside counsel who affirmed that the council has that ability to have reasonable conditions apply to PUDs. Although the corporate council still maintains that it's not within our purview.
Just preposterous, I'm sorry.
But as long as I've been in the council, we've been able to do that. And in fact, I can point to a number of PUDs around town where reasonable conditions have improved the situation there dramatically. So I won't get into that now, but it was very foreign to me, and I'm glad that we still have that, because it would have set a terrible precedent had we said, okay, we're agreeable to no reasonable condition.
Yeah.
And it was only an up or down vote. Anyway, so that's
Okay.
where it was left. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions for Councilmember Rella? All right, thank you very much. Okay, so that brings us to agenda item 6, discussions not the subject of resolution. So first up is the O'Neill capstone presentation that we saw a couple weeks ago. I mostly just wanted to spend a little time giving people the opportunity to kind of chat and reflect on, you know, how that went. I think it'd probably be good to have a longer period of time for us to really brainstorm what we want to do with that information, especially after people have had more time to maybe digest the materials. But I thought maybe an initial conversation just to start getting the ideas flowing, and then our next agenda item we'll talk about, you know, where we might have like these sorts of brainstorming sessions and things like this. So I'll open up the floor now if anyone wants to. It just kind of be an open discussion between commissioners.
I think, I mean, I thought it was like a fantastic session. I thought it was like a great partnership. I think there was like a lot of really good information, and I think that it sounded like, for, I can never turn off the teacher thing, like a good experience for the students.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I like kind of floated to Alex is putting together some kind of like guide or tool for other commissions who might want to pursue similar partnerships. This one was driven largely by like personal connections, but I currently work in the department at IU that includes the community engaged learning, and so I have some insights about like what commissions need to commit to in order to make sure that they are, you know, not blowing up somebody's school work, but so that's something that I would love to work on, some kind of tool to help other commissions, because we have so many commissions and we have this rich resource, and it is hard for us to do everything that we want to do or research everything that we want to research.
I thought the quality was great. I thought they did a great job presenting what they presented. The information was dense and really well done. I don't really think they sufficiently answered the question I most wanted them to answer, which was how to set up an SEU in Bloomington.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's illegal, having looked at the law myself. I think it's difficult, but not illegal. And they presented it as though it was impossible. And I would have liked to have seen them go a little bit more in depth on ways we could get around it, even if it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I did think the quality was very, very high quality and very in depth, and I learned a lot from it. But that they didn't really answer the question I wanted them to answer. So, yeah.
I do think that their alternative proposals are very interesting, and I think that, you know, Justin, you're talking about more time to digest and think about next steps and things. I do think that there are actionable items from what they proposed. I think that both to the point of the SEU is not impossible, just potentially very difficult, and my takeaway from their presentation was that a community solar system on existing property, on brownfield, on something of that nature would be the best thing that the city could do, and that engagement with Duke Energy is kind of a very logical next step, because lots of what Bloomington can do farther from that type of angle involves engagement with Duke Energy. And I don't know, as a commissioner, like, I'm happy to go do that engagement, but I don't really know where I start crossing the lines between that should be staff-led or like only staff and, you know, stepping on toes or anything. But yeah, I do think that it is time to engage Duke, I think.
I think you're right on that being the pathway to doing something. I think that's really the question I asked them on the only question I asked was, did you engage with Duke directly? And they said no. That's something they think we would do. But I think that, you know, the answer to whether or not this could be something would be, it's all about building a relationship. If they have a need and we serve it, I think they help carve out the whatever legalities it is to make it happen.
Yeah.
Or they can stop it if we, you know, I think it's either way.
Yeah, it would be good to know how much and what Duke might be supportive of, because that certainly would shape what we should recommend happens. Because I don't think that with the current budget constrained world that Bloomington is particularly looking to also take on fighting Duke Energy in legal battles, so.
Yeah, if they thought that it was serious, they'd probably talk to us, but yeah, I don't know how entertaining they'd be with just sort of floating the idea at them.
Yeah.
We can try, but.
Other thoughts? Riffs on those thoughts?
To your point, my feedback from the SPIA representatives is that they greatly enjoyed the experience and they would love to do more of it. So I think your idea of putting together that guidance is a good one.
Yeah, I think so much of what we were able to do, it was really reliant on your institutional knowledge there, and so whatever we can document. And then there's, there are some like official channels that we can go through, whether it's through the Engaged Learning, but there's also like a government affairs person at IU who can connect us. There's also, there are also other schools here. There's, Ivy Tech, and there's also, high schools and other ways to engage with.
Yeah. And there are other schools within IU.
Sure,
I think
yeah.
that SPIA probably aligns the best for city commission work in general, but
We have an arts commission, we have
yeah.
commissions on aging. There's, I think that depending on what commissions want to do, there's all kinds of opportunities there. But
Yeah.
I think the where do I start, and then making sure that the commission knows what they're signing on for in terms of committing to supporting the students through the entirety of the project is important
Yeah.
for them to reflect on if they have capacity for that.
Yeah, I like the idea of having a resource that we can send other commissions and say, hey, here's the blueprint we followed, and this is a great experience for us and everyone involved. I think that'd be really helpful. Yeah, I think if we do, feel like a near-term step would be engaging with Duke, we'd probably want to lay out what exactly that might look like, what we'd want to get out of it, and then of course work with staff to figure out what's the appropriate way to actually go about doing that. But yeah, I know the report had a handful of recommendations, and maybe there's some others that we can take up as well. We do have the full report available, which I'm just realizing now hasn't been circulated to everybody yet. So we'll get that out, and then that can get attached as a packet for maybe the 28th meeting that we had at the 28th. And there's also some other supplementary materials there. There were like some spreadsheets and stuff that
they gave us digital files for basically all of the tools they used. For example, we should be able to go in and change some of the assumptions on like the environmental characteristics of a community solar program, assuming that you are using a brownfield instead of, converting existing productive natural land for a community solar program, and like see how that changes the emissions and things. So we have a rich repository of the resources that they use in case anybody wants to delve deeper into their analysis, or take their analysis and look at it from a different angle or anything. So yeah, Justin has all of that.
Yeah, you sent me the zip file there.
They also gave us 2 flash drives with all of that on it. So if anybody's like, I want that, I'm sure you could just probably have a flash drive to play with.
I think it all needs to go on onboard anyway,
Yes.
Well, yeah,
so
yes.
it'll be all.
I don't know what
accessible.
what the best way to do that is for like nested directories and Excel files and stuff, but maybe just a zip file. But I'll send it all to you, and eventually it'll get up there, I'm sure.
The rulemaking got pushed back a year for the compliance, so there's a little time to make it accessible.
Did it?
Oh yeah. I can say
Yeah.
it in another thing, but if it's helpful.
I was gonna mention.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I read
Okay,
the full
well.
Federal Register announcement.
That's
I have
good,
some
good reading. Yeah.
insight or thoughts.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll circle back on that, but that's good news. That makes things a little bit easier. Okay, awesome. Yeah, anything else about the capstone? Initial thoughts? Secondary thoughts? Tertiary? All right, well, why don't we chat a little bit about the potential need for additional commission time. Last regular meeting was pretty jam-packed, and the good thing is we're getting lots of stuff done. We've got lots of resolutions coming down the pipeline. The bad news is we only have so much time to meet and to actually discuss those resolutions and pass them. And so it seems like there's a need for more time to get together and work on these things, whether that is sort of the working sessions like we used to do, which is very unstructured, kind of brainstormy. We just pick a thing to work on, or we just ad hoc it in the moment, and just throw ideas around, or maybe like work on the wording of a particular resolution together, or something more structured where maybe sometimes we're doing 2 business meetings in a month instead of 1 when things are busy or something like that. Of course, those sorts of things depend on everybody's availability and, you know, what they have going on in their life. So I wanted to open up for discussion, spend some time brainstorming whether we want to add more time for us to get together and chat about these things, or not, if we just want to try to be more efficient with the time that we have. And we can chat a little bit too about what that might look like in terms of staff availability, you know, working around those constraints to find something that works for everybody. So, yeah.
Did you want to go ahead?
Okay, yeah,
Go ahead.
just to start off with, from the perspective of staff, like our encouragement is, we definitely want to support working groups through, you know, staff time, that we're there to support, make it happen and everything. But just want to make sure that whatever kind of time we're setting has a deliberate purpose. You know, if there's a working group focusing on a specific topic or a specific type of task, I think that would be most helpful, just so we know going into saying, yes, let's dedicate this extra time and convene everybody or a portion of everybody, that we kind of know what that time is for going into it. I think just to help us keep structured. And yeah, and then there's also options to, you know, individually work on things, which you have been doing. 2 people can get together to work on something, that's, you know, perfectly okay, and just kind of have a plan for, you know, time set aside when we're coming back to the commission with ideas on like what we want to work on. And I'm still in support, super in support of having some time to like prioritize, you know, what we want to work on as a commission as well. Like we haven't really done the strategy session yet. I still think that will be really valuable because, yeah, there only is so much time that we have in these meetings, and I recognize that. And so, you know, to make the most of it, I think a strategic meeting would still be great, and I would support that too. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just from my perspective. Yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
This might not be popular, maybe it isn't, I don't know, but I would like to see us move to 2 meetings a month. Maybe we could do like every other month, one's an extra actual business meeting, and then the next month it's a working meeting, or something like that. I don't know. I think we've got an ambitious agenda of stuff, and that is good. We should be doing that, and we just don't have time to do it in an hour and a half a month right now. We need more time to work. I don't know exactly what that looks like. I would move to 2 meetings a month, whether that means again 2 business meetings a month, and the next month we do a business meeting and a working meeting, or I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I think we need more time. Those are my thoughts.
I wonder if it's worth, like, if whatever we kind of talk about it, finding out, can we get a quorum if we move to more meetings a month, regardless? Because I think I'm like amenable to I think there's so much that I want to do, but it's hard when like we haven't had this issue as much, but like I think the first 6 months I was on the commission, we had like 4 meetings canceled or something for quorum. So making sure that like that is something that everybody can commit to before we put the time on people's calendars. And one other thing that I mentioned this to Justin is, you know, we definitely get, in terms of using our time efficiently, we are somewhat bogged down in that Robert's Rules of Order is like way too much rules for an organization like this, but we are bound by statute to use Robert's Rules of Orders. So we would have to make a resolution through Robert's Rules of Order to the processes. There's like a we would have to get council to change the law.
Yeah, the Committee on Council Processes.
Committee on
is the
Council
one
Processes.
I think you're talking about. Yeah, it's something we.
To adopt something like Rosenberg's Rules of Order or something like a little bit more flexible for us, which also could be a benefit if that's something that they're amenable to. There's also some room in Robert's Rules of Order for us to just suspend the rules at the beginning of our meetings as like a point of practice, which could also be a way of freeing up some of the, like, this is, we're 13 people
First
in a
item on the
conference room.
agenda every week.
Yeah, we
Suspend
don't,
the
we
rules.
don't,
Well,
like.
we can't just suspend them all, but we can suspend.
We
some.
can't, because there's some things that we have, like, and that we, you know, we have to do the voice vote if there's people online. There's certain things that we have to do for open door, but I think there's a lot that we could suspend to, which we kind of unofficially do in a lot of ways anyway, and I
By
think
making
most
more
commissions
efficient.
do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They could make it, they could use the time better, regardless of how often we're meeting.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to changing. I don't really mind Robert's rules, to be honest with you, but I wouldn't be opposed to changing something else.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to get a sense for, like, you've mentioned agenda, you've mentioned strategic work group, like, what is in the pipeline? Like, how much discussion on how many topics, on how many?
Yeah, at the moment, I know there's a few resolutions that are in development that people are working on. We had, you know, at our last business meeting, we had like 4 of them on the agenda or something, I think, and it's
I've got 4
So how-
yeah.
coming that aren't on an agenda yet.
So can you just bring, sorry for the
Oh, no,
basic
no.
questions,
Yeah.
but like, if I have an idea I'm really passionate about, can I
Yep.
just bring the
Yes.
resolution forward?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's unbridled.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, and that's where I kind of think, you know, that strategic planning meeting would be
Yes.
really helpful
Yeah.
because we do only have so much time to work with within our set meetings. I don't think most city staff are going to support doubling the meetings that we have every month, and it is in the bylaws 1 meeting per month, but that, you know, if we have a strategic meeting to like upfront say, as a commission collectively, you know, vote on or rank or, you know, something like that, like weigh what issues matter to you the most and sort of set out to then, you know, individual commissioners maybe take and work on those types of things. You know, I think, you know, Zach, you've done some amazing work. You know, Matt really opened up a great conversation that I think everyone learned a lot, but there was maybe some earlier steps in the process of like, does the commission kind of as a whole want to spend a lot of time on this subject matter, or are there any questions that maybe should be addressed before the resolution comes up? That's all just kind of like my opinion and perspective, that I think would be helpful for staff time to even be maybe more aware of like what resolutions are coming up even before they get presented at the initial meeting, because we have things we need to, you know, review and look into, and recommend you all to talk to you know, important other connected groups as well. So yeah, that's just my perspective.
Yeah, quite a
I just wanted to second that. The idea of doing like a strategy meeting, you know, we'll know what we're talking about, you know, 6-8 weeks ahead. You know, we're going to be talking about these are the categories, these are the general topics. We know what's coming down the road. I think that will go a long way to sort of planning out the year, and we gain a lot of the time that we might get from having like a second meeting. You know, we might be able to forego that just by the strategy meeting. If we were able to get that, I think.
Is the primary concern that we're gonna have too many resolutions to get through in our meetings currently? I just, for clarification,
I think at least that's kind of the
upcoming, yeah.
that's the bottleneck that we've hit recently. So it's
And I think if we had working groups too, we just foster more collaboration. Like, you know, we talked about having like a retreat or some, I mean, and currently we don't have any non-meeting working groups happening.
Mhm.
So I think it is, you know, prohibitive to more collaboration and getting, you know, as Julie said, like some of these like earlier questions taken care of before
Yeah.
we get into a meeting time where time is limited and we're asking more background questions that probably could get solved in a working group.
Christopher has his hand.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Christopher, go ahead.
Hey, so in terms of spending more time working as a commission, in terms of whether we're doing planning meetings or multiple meetings a month, the question I would want to understand or answer that I think would resolve those further questions for me would be basically the nature of the purpose of the commission. If it's a sort of engine for resolutions, you know, I think that's, if we were going to do some genuine strategizing in terms of what it is that the commission is set up to do and how it can most efficaciously accomplish those goals, that would be of interest to me and worth time. But I think in terms of just kind of generating resolutions, I feel less inclined in terms of efficacy, I guess, or sort of in an advisory capacity. I'm not convinced that that's the most efficacious use of time. So I guess what I'm saying is, yes, I would support sort of more time or more planning if it was along the lines of like genuinely strategic planning in a kind of systematic or institutional sense. Not just a matter of sort of organizing a busy docket, which it very much is, and I appreciate that. That's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good points. Yeah, Tara.
I will share that we tried to do a planning meeting, and my impression of the interactions with the city was that the city was not in good faith willing to support that. Justin and I got communication from city legal that like we have to consider, like we can't plan a meeting and then say like the staff, like here's when our meeting is, please staff it. The city attorney said, yes, you can do that. Like, you schedule a meeting, it's my responsibility to make sure it's staffed. The city clerk and the deputy mayor said, no, that's not their reading of it. And so the impression that I got in those interactions is that we do not actually have the flexibility to do more than we're currently doing. And like we can talk about it, but I don't know that the city will support it.
I think the goal is that the staff and the commission are aligned in that, yes, we both agree that we are able to commit the time to specific meetings. And the amount of time, I think the initial idea of the strategic retreat was kind of an all-day thing, which was a bit much on the staff end. So we came up with kind of some ideas and I think, Sean and I contributed what times it would be available for like a couple 2-hour sessions, which was a lot more reasonable. But yeah, really the goal is just collaborating and communicating it, as opposed to something like, we call this meeting staff, now you have to show up. We just want to, have time.
Which is what the city attorney told us that we could do.
Yeah.
But that was contradicted by communication from other administration officials.
And it definitely goes back to my point that I would just ask that any additional working group meetings or meetings outside of the scope of the normal meeting has a focus, has a task, like what is the purpose of it, rather than just kind of free for all.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, in addition to being, respectful of staff's time, I think that's just generally good for, productivity, right? Coming in with an idea and a purpose, yeah.
Can I ask do we know if there's any update on the onboarding or guidance documents that the city clerk told us that they were working on, and the city attorney? Because I think a big part of the limitation to working offline and in working groups is when I first came in, I was told that if we cannot work, when I was doing the working group for the report, I was told that any time that we worked together, we had to do it in a public place, noticed, with a virtual option. And there were only 3 of us, but because it was a quorum of that committee, that if any 2 of us were together, and so it became impossible for us to do that. And so clear guidance of when are we invited, because now I'm hearing 2 of you can go sit and work, and that's not the guidance that I've gotten before. So knowing the parameters of our out of business meeting time would be really helpful.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten 10 different answers in 2 years.
Yeah.
There isn't a clear answer is the problem. Yeah.
In May,
There isn't.
all staff are being trained as liaisons, and then in June, you all will be hearing about being invited to receive training, and they will have new training available and developed for new commissioners as well. So yes, that is actually coming. Yeah.
And I think for that, experience, the lesson that we learned there is that, if 2 commissioners randomly just get together and they say, hey, we both share this interest, let's work on something, that's generally fine, unless they both happen to sit on a particular subcommittee or an established working group that's an official sub-body of this body, and they constitute a
board,
quorum, because then, you know, the open door law rules apply to any subcommittee that gets officially.
Because it's a quorum of that subcommittee.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
And how do
So-
the subcommittees?
Or like of a working group, so yeah.
We usually, I guess we would vote, and in that case, we voted to establish a specific ad hoc committee for that purpose.
The environmental commission just eliminated all this.
Yeah, because the city wasn't working with them on letting them meet, so.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
The city is not a good faith ally on this, I'm sorry, the administration that wasn't released.
That's been my experience
Yeah,
too.
they just
is
aren't-
that
they don't like
there's,
commissioners.
I've gotten a lot of different, a lot of different answers and not a lot of answers to the actual questions that I asked, but a lot of other words.
Yeah, it has been confusing at times. I think in terms of having a strategy meeting session, which originally started out as this idea of a retreat, just that if we're really going to think hard about what we want to do over the next year, not just in terms of what topics do we want to focus on, but also like how, you know, some of the questions that have been brought up here that Chris brought up, like what's the best use of our time? Is it just doing resolutions? Is it other types of work? You know, how should we organize ourselves internally, right? If we talk about like rewriting the bylaws and stuff, and how we can suspend rules when we need to, and that sort of thing. Those are all things that take, you know, a while to kind of get through and brainstorm. So that's where the idea of a retreat came from originally. It's like, let's all just hang out for a day and kind of, you know, get it done. I think we could still achieve a lot of those goals by, you know, having maybe a couple shorter sort of strategy sessions that aren't business meetings like this, but do have a set agenda, do have a list of topics where we're going through and discussing this stuff. And it's sounding to me like the question of do we need more meetings or not is maybe better answered after we've had a chance to have those strategy sessions and really think about, okay, what is this commission doing? What direction is it going? Can we just be more efficient and then we don't need the extra meetings, or is it something that we truly need?
Need at least one extra meeting to determine if there are more extra meetings.
Sure,
Is what I'm
yes.
hearing? Okay.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's a great starting point, I think.
Yes. One or two extra focused meetings.
So can I just add something that's
Yeah.
just reflecting on the conversation? If the commission desires more meetings, I mean, in the enabling language of the commission, in the municipal code, which is 2.02.120, if anybody cares, it's section F, meetings. The commission shall meet one time each month, every month of the year, unless it decides to cancel the meeting. So, you know, if you want to change code, that would require, you know, to have additional meetings, that would require council action, but we would want to obviously coordinate with the administration, because this is, you know, it requires administration resources to have those meetings. So we want to talk to the mayor and work out something. But if that's what you, I mean, I'm curious to know if that's what you're proposing.
I think we're talking about like like calling special sessions.
Just special sessions.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then code does a lot to give us that
Yes.
option. So
The
yeah, I
chair
guess
or the commission itself can say, sorry, I mean, yeah.
yeah, I was just gonna say, I guess we, you know, in that reading, where it says shall meet once each month, that probably says we can't just schedule 2 business meetings on a regular basis. The exception being if something was a special meeting, you know, then that would be permissible, I think. But of course, we wouldn't want to regularly be calling special meetings as a order of business. So if we decided we truly wanted more meetings, then I think we would have to advocate potentially for some sort of change to the code to accommodate that. You know, so maybe that's not a direction we end up going. Maybe it's a work smarter, not harder kind of kind of situation. Other thoughts?
Do we have a tentative timeline for when we want to do the strategic planning?
Yeah, I wanted to do it a couple months ago.
I know,
Yeah,
but-
I mean, mostly I've been the bottleneck because it's really just trying to coordinate with staff to figure out exactly, you know, like what durations and what dates would work, and they sent me back some dates that would work for them, and I think all those dates have passed now, so we have to kind of restart that.
And if we are getting concrete guidance and training.
I was
from
gonna
the
say, I wonder
city,
if that's
would-
not a good time to just go ahead and plan around, like after we all get trained.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying like I would wanna see what the concrete sort of like guidance we're getting from the city is, cause then we have it like in writing in a place that everybody's seen.
Mhm.
That's why I was
before-
asking.
Yeah, before doing any extra,
Mhm.
cause I don't want us to, you know, invest a lot of time into something that like then we get trained and city legal said actually that's
Yeah,
not allowed.
that's a good point, yeah. And you said June was the time that commissions would probably get that sort of training?
Mhm.
Okay.
So we'd be looking at like a July potential strategic planning.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
so, yeah.
I feel like the being strategic is that's how we get something done that's, you know, more effective or, you know, that's gonna make a difference. Sort of to Chris's point, we could run through a bunch of different things, or we could focus on one or two things for the year.
That's
you
what I was
know.
gonna say, like, I feel
Yeah.
like we need big focus areas if that's the concern with the resolutions.
Sure.
Which I feel like is similar to what Christopher was kinda talking about.
Yeah, and I'm thinking too, like, you know, a strategy session, we can each get some homework, maybe, you know, let's see what the other commissions are trying to get done.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way to look at that and say, okay, we could position ourselves to focus on these things. It's gonna align with these other groups, and we might actually get something bigger across the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that. Okay, so I think going forward, we'll stand by for the moment, and once we get some training on the books and get that done, then we'll start planning around a strategy session as soon as we can after that. And then we can chat then about if we actually have a need for more meetings or not. So, awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, for that, for the input. That brings us on to resolutions for first reading. So we're pretty much exactly on time right now, which is pretty great. So generally, we don't really discuss resolutions at their first reading. We save that for the second reading. And so we usually just introduce them at the first reading, and then we vote on it. For those that aren't aware, we do have to have 2 readings for any resolution that we pass. That's in our bylaws. And there is a way to sort of get around that in special cases if you need to really get it done in one. That's not the case today. So we've got a resolution here authored by Zach about concerning anticoagulant, rodenticides, and adhesive-based animal traps and their impact on the biodiversity crisis. So I would entertain a motion to pass this for a second reading at our next meeting. Resolution 2026-05, I should say.
So second.
Perfect. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Or questions about the process would be appropriate too. Oh, thank you for pulling that up. Yeah, and Zach did send around a memo.
Yeah, I was
to folks.
gonna say, does Zach want to say a couple words?
Yeah, do you have a couple words?
about it?
I mean, just briefly, it would basically recommend that the city ban, stop the use of anticoagulant rodenticides on city property or with city contractors. If you're unaware of these, there's a whole memo that I wrote on here about the damage that they basically ricochet throughout the entire ecosystem, hitting wildlife all over the place. They're horrible. The city's somewhat limited by what we can do, so I'm trying to suggest strategies of ways to get around it. And then there's also a recommendation to outright ban glue traps, which I do think we'd be allowed to do, which are also horribly inhumane and barbaric and awful. So look into it. I have a whole bunch of recommended reading on there. I wrote a 3-page memo, so 4-page memo. So
Thank you.
yeah.
All right, any other questions about the process or anything before we move on to a vote? All right, then we'll call the roll. This is to advance Resolution 2026-05 to a second reading. Okay, Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Rallo?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, it is unanimous. We will see this as a second reading at our next business meeting. Thank you, Zach. All right, that brings us to resolutions for second reading. So first up on the list is Resolution 2026-03 concerning the pedestrianization of Kirkwood Avenue and sustainable transportation. And Zach is the author and presenter of that as well. So do you want to give an intro to what this is, and then we can...
Yeah, so as many of you are probably aware, the mayor decided to stop the pedestrian program at Kirkwood Avenue this summer. I think it was a huge mistake. Basically, this would suggest or recommend to the city, both the mayor and the city council, a couple of different things. The whereas clauses all go through the background on that, and then we have some findings, but the recommendations really meat of it. And the recommendations go that, number one, that they should at a minimum reverse the decision to not pedestrianize Kirkwood this summer and go back to pedestrianizing at least during the seasonally. Strongly consider more long-term, a permanent year-round closure of Kirkwood Avenue, at least from the sample gates to Kirkwood. Study existing streets that are really successful in analog cities and other parts of the country. Prioritize investment in permanent streetscape improvements rather than just doing ad hoc things every season. Move administration of the pedestrian program from the Department of Economic and Sustainable Development to Planning and Transportation, which is better equipped to handle this sort of thing. I also I think it was a mistake to frame it as an economic development issue, which it has been from the start. I think that was a mistake. It's not an economic development issue, it's a public space and pedestrian and sustainable transportation issue. So the planning and transportation are better equipped to handle it. And that's the next one. And then after that, finally, repeal a specific section of the ordinance which created the streetscape program, which allowed the city engineer to unilaterally just get rid of the program and either just completely repeal it or replace it with something requiring the council to weigh in before it's gotten rid of. And then also just, the mayor repeatedly has framed the Kirkwood program as one in terms of like parking revenue lost versus the fees that they gain from allowing restaurants to be on the street. And we're talking, I think I put it in here somewhere, it's 0.0004% of the city's budget that we're talking about. It's not a big revenue loss. Like, why are we framing it? That's a silly thing. Stop doing that. And then finally, a statement of values, which I think sums up the entire thing. The commission affirms that sustainable cities prioritize people over automobiles, especially in the most central public spaces, and that Bloomington's identity as a walkable, bikeable community should be reflected in the design of its most prominent and iconic pedestrian corridor. So that's in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So before we discuss, do I have a motion to approve this?
So moved. Motion.
Second.
And a second. Okay, perfect. That brings us to discussion, debate. So, open the floor. Yeah, Councilman Brown.
Just FYI, Zach, I understand my colleagues in the council are coming to, do you know this?
Yes.
That are going to be considering an ordinance to close Kirkwood.
Yes.
And I think it's Councilmember Rosenbarger and Councilmember Dealey were co-sponsoring it.
Yes.
So this again goes to a very core question, which is who has the authority to do this? And in my previous experience, it always came to the council to adopt policy regarding permanent alterations of roadways. That has been in dispute, and the administration maintains that it's up to the city engineer. And we now have an interim council attorney who's working on that. So I don't have anything to report in terms of, where that falls right now, but that's going to be a core,
Yes.
part of this discussion. And that's going to be on May 20th.
Yes.
My understanding. So it's coming, meeting next week.
Yeah.
Actually.
So this is very timely, and I was planning, if this gets approved, I was planning to ask I think we'd have to ask, the council would actually have to vote to authorize me to go to the council meeting and speak on behalf of the commission, but obviously that's contingent on it passing, we'll discuss that later.
I have a procedural question, because there's an amendment
Yes.
for this that's also on offer. Are right now we're discussing
The resolution.
what's the process to?
Yeah, right now we're
amend?
discussing the resolution without any amendments proposed, but at any time, a commissioner could move to make an amendment, so that could happen right up front or after some discussion. It's mostly up
I
to
think
you,
it's that we
Zach.
generally
Yeah.
discuss it, and then we'll move to amend, and then we can discuss it as a package.
I just wanted to make sure I knew the order that we were doing.
Yeah.
I love this. I'm highly supportive of it. I was thinking of something like this, and then you did it, and I went, great, I don't have to. So, yeah, I do have a potential amendment myself
Okay.
just to strengthen one of the whereas clauses for one of the lenses that I really view this through.
Mhm.
But yeah, I have been to multiple. I haven't been to the North Carolina city, but yeah, can't remember what that was off the top of
Virginia,
my head,
Charlottesville,
but-
yeah.
Yeah, Virginia, Charlottesville. I haven't been to that one, but I've been to the other locations, and they're like fabulous boulevards
It's the
that
center
are
of the city,
core
yeah.
to their cities, and
Yeah.
it's just such an amazing place to be. And I feel like this would only be beneficial in that way.
I raised a question in the last business meeting about this, and it's partially addressed in the amendment that was shared in the packet about accessibility concerns, especially for people that are trying to access like public spaces like the library in there. And I think that I like the amendment that's in the packet in sort of affirming the accessibility, pedestrianization is at its core about accessibility. I think anecdotally and observationally what I've seen, what creates a lot of the accessibility barriers is like a lack of enforcement of the accessibility of the space, the existing space. And I think that that's not limited to if Kirkwood is pedestrianized or not. I think that businesses right now block the sidewalk and it's not accessible. So I think there's a question of enforcement from the city and seeing a commitment from wanting to see maybe language in here or an amendment encouraging better, more consistent enforcement of and proactive enforcement of accessibility for these spaces to make sure that they are actually available to everyone. And I think knowing that the council is also talking about snow removal and stuff, that's maybe something that's on their minds already. So
Yeah, and if you
that's a concern that's like my chief concern with proposing it. But I think if we can talk about that language, I
Yeah, and when we bring that up,
Yeah.
which we can now, if you want, we can. I'm happy
Yeah.
to incorporate whatever language you want. So.
think of the words.
Okay.
So that May 20th meeting you referenced, is that when council's considering this ordinance, this proposed ordinance, or just discussing the topic?
It's a good question. I haven't seen it, so it hasn't had a first reading yet.
Right.
Now, we could discuss it because we've changed our rules to hear it on that night. So, but I'm not sure if that's the intent of the sponsors at this point. I assume that, you mentioned, Zach, fiscal impact of parking meter revenue. Probably the administration's probably gonna say that there's a fiscal impact regarding, staffing and so forth.
Yeah. For sure.
I don't have a total picture of that yet, so I assume it's gonna take a couple meetings, to resolve
Does the city's measurement of the revenue from parking count the cost to enforce
I don't
parking?
think so. What they used was the $80,000 lost from the actual just meter revenue. The actual, so no.
Because I know there are many examples, and I think Bloomington is probably among them, where the cost to enforce meters exceeds the revenue generated from the
Wouldn't surprise me
meters.
because it's very cheap to park in Bloomington.
I don't have an answer for that. That's a good question.
And would that be before the concessionaires cut, or?
I'm not sure I'm understanding.
Because like, are those not Parkmobile? I guess I don't know the.
Oh, I don't know.
Physical
They're
meters.
both. They're both. They're both. They're like Park Mobile
Yeah.
or.
Park Mobile probably
Yes.
skins off of the top.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you only get to
Like-
pay for that. Yeah.
All I know is they had a total that was $80,000 lost versus I think $17,000 in gains from the
Yeah, 23
public
cents.
space access. But that's literally the difference. It's like I measured it's 0.0004% of the city budget. We're talking pennies. Like that's not a reason to cancel the entire program. It's silly nonsense. They were just grasping at reasons to cancel it because they wanted to cancel it. Anyway.
Well, I think to your point too, it's not an issue of money to you so much as it is an issue of priority.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should we move to amend? I guess. I move to amend.
Perfect, there's a motion.
Second.
Yeah.
There's a motion to amend and to
Yeah.
amend as you provided, right?
Yes.
The amendment form?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, maybe we could pull that one up. If what's possible. What do you think? Should we look at the form, Zach, or the draft, or the text itself?
Either, it's both, they're identical, so.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
maybe
just.
maybe that's the form here is easier to.
Sorry, I'm
see.
taking notes at the same time. I'm minutes at the same time. May I remember to amend? Who did you second?
Yes, me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Not used to being secretary.
Sorry.
Dale.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So should I explain what?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, most of this, several of these are just adding in footnotes that got dropped inadvertently, so that's not really important. The main substantive one is one adding in this line here at line 33.
Sorry, there's no line numbers on this version
okay.
of the draft.
Well, it's there. I guess.
If you just look at the,
Underwhelming
It's under-
progress.
When configured for automobile traffic, the next one after that,
Yep.
at the bottom of page 1. Just saying that accessible street design is a core component of exclusive public space, and that pedestrianized streets, when you do it correctly, are accessible streets. Essentially, is what it comes down to. And that when you're actually expanding the pedestrian realm dramatically, and not just taking away, not just reserving, literally, at most you can get maybe 1/4 of the space on the street for people versus cars on a regular configured street. This one, it's 100% for people. That includes people with accessibility issues. That includes people with mobility issues. In the memo I attached to this, that goes into my rationale behind it. They've done intense studies on accessibility on pedestrian streets, and they find that the biggest issues on pedestrianized streets for accessibility tend to be in places where they're coming into conflict with cars. So on cross streets where they're not pedestrianized, that's where the biggest issues with accessibility are, and it's the cars themselves that often provoke the accessibility issues. There are other ones that are completely solvable, which are, the federal government has guidelines on how to deal with these that are things like, hold on, what do they say? Detectable curb edges for like people that have vision issues, being able to figure out where the curb is, wayfinding for people that have braille and things like that.
Truncated domes.
I'm sorry?
Truncated domes.
What is it? Oh yeah. So like on maps and things, having things coming out, so you can feel where things are on a map, for example. What's another one? Having texture of some sort on the side of the road if the road is at the same level as the pedestrian area, so that people can feel when they're about to enter a place with cars and things like that. So there's federal guidelines for all of this. There's solvable issues, and most of the conflicts that actually happen come where cars are in play. So it's just emphasizing that pedestrian streets really are accessible streets by design. That is an accessibility thing.
I would go as far as saying that a pedestrian street will drive accessibility by getting, to your point, getting rid of the cars. Everything's going to start falling in place for accessibility.
For sure, and I also mentioned that like a lot of people that have mobility issues don't have cars, like disproportionately. People that are involuntary car-free households are households that have a high percentage of disabilities or accessibility issues of some sort.
It's going to drive density because you probably must be within walking distance, so you have accessibility from that angle.
And it's the center. It should be the center of civic life in Bloomington. Anyway, yeah. So that's my spiel on the accessibility. And then I also added something at the very one other substantive change, relatively minor, just adding to the end of the study these other streets in other cities. Example, just studying what they did on accessibility that worked. Just adding that.
And safety is another huge one. When you have a place where there's a lot of pedestrians, you got vehicles. I've looked at reports showing that walking in Bloomington is not as safe today as it was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Even with all the new safety improvements, it's still not as good. So I think I support everything you're saying on that.
Okay, wonderful. Any other discussion, debate about this amendment?
Or did you have any?
No, I'm looking at the language and I
Okay.
feel like it's covered, and I feel like I can't. I don't know that I could write the words to make the city follow their own laws.
Yeah.
Well, I read it. I thought it was really excellent, so I appreciate the care that you took with it.
Thanks.
And as a former alternative modes transportation planner, I think you hit all the high marks for a compelling, what do we call these?
No resolution.
Resolution. I had a brain blip. So yeah, I was really excited to see this personally and professionally. So.
I think it's in the, it's sample gates to Walnut. Is that the-
I was sample gates to the courthouse square, so yeah, we want it,
Okay,
yeah.
And then I think there's been like a break or two somewhere in there traditionally, the way it's been done the last couple
All
years.
the cross streets have still
All
been
the cross
open
streets.
Yeah.
historically.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Which, that's, I think, a different resolution, but I
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
I
that.
All right.
It's worse.
Let's get it
Yeah.
pedestrianized first.
Yeah.
Let's have a real pedestrian.
All right,
Yeah.
so on the question of the amendment, is there any other discussion on that, or should we move on to a vote? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to a roll call vote, and this is to approve the amendment that Zach just laid out here to resolution.
So do we have to?
So there's already been a motion and a
So you can
second.
say, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Move to amend.
Okay. My list. All right, Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Morello?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, the amendment passes unanimously. So that brings us back to our discussion on the full resolution as amended. Are there any further discussions on that resolution or additional amendments that anyone would like to make?
I have one additional amendment and maybe a second one that, anyway, let's start with my first additional amendment.
What would it be?
Okay, so, one of the things about the pedestrianization and everything that the oscillation that drives me crazy is lines 50 through 52. The statement is, whereas the current uncertainty regarding Kirkwood's status oscillating between pedestrian and automobile setups prevents businesses and the city from making long-term investments in streetscape improvements. And I think this is very true, but for me, this is one of my core complaints, that, you know, the city doesn't see this great additional revenue generation from this because we can't do the right things with it. So I would just strengthen that.
Okay.
And build it out a little bit more.
You have language?
I mean, the city themselves understands the value of this because they're shutting it down one night every month for families and children to
Yeah.
enjoy. So,
We're planning to do a study on the corridor, and or it starts with a study, right? But a study to see, to model that future solution as discussed here.
Yeah. So, and I can send this language to somebody if it'd be useful to put it up on the screen instead of just reading it, but whereas the seasonal oscillation between pedestrian and vehicular traffic creates a structural barrier to realizing the full potential of the corridor, stifling investments in features such as, but not limited to, fixed public art, permanent commercial kiosks, which could easily raise the tax base to fully replace lost parking revenue, expanded outdoor dining structures, and resilient environmental features like bioswales, rain gardens, or general permeable landscapes, which could be especially beneficial given Kirkwood's history of flooding.
Yes. Seconded.
Semicolon and, right?
Semicolon and.
Yeah. Yes.
Move to amend.
Or
Is he moving to amend?
I guess he would.
That was yeah.
I move to add that to. I move to replace
Yes.
the previous mentioned 3 lines, lines 50 through 52
So that whole whereas
of
clause,
the
right?
that whereas clause with my amended whereas
Yes.
clause.
And if we approve this, since that is a pretty substantial change, you will send me that identical text.
Yes, I have
so
it
that I
in
can-
an email.
Perfect.
Saved.
Perfect.
Okay.
Um,
I support that. That's fantastic.
Okay, so and there was a second, was that?
Yes,
was
I
that
did.
Zach? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So there is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion about that amendment?
I love it.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I like it too. So, all right, if there is no discussion, we'll move on to a vote for that amendment. Okay, Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Barella?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes, sorry.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. All right, the amendment passes. So that brings us back to our discussion on the full resolution as amended twice. Are there any further discussions or amendments?
I have a shorter amendment that I have written on the fly. This is less polished. But Quentin, I know you and I have talked about your desire to have IU follow suit in some places and do a little bit more of road closures and things. So
Okay, I'm with you there.
I wrote another whereas. Whereas successful implementation of such a change in our community could prove as a model for Indiana University to take similar action in some of their core roadways where there is significant pedestrian/motor vehicle interface.
Yes.
Semicolon and.
Seconded.
And where would that go?
I have no idea.
Just to the end.
Before
Yeah.
the last whereas clause,
Okay.
so that we
So
don't have
the
to
and makes
amend
sense.
that one to be semicolon and.
What,
Mm,
can I ask a question on this?
absolutely.
What is the appetite for having some sort of, imagining there was a, like, well, we have the bus network right now, right? If there was a way to have something dedicated for transportation, to kind of move people, right? So I'm thinking like you have a football game. Like, you know, they have, maybe people want to park downtown and they want to enjoy and spend some money after the game, get dinner or whatever. If there was like a you know, they close roads all the time with those. If you had a road that you could put people on, like the things they got at the state fair, those trackless
Like a
trolleys.
trailer trolley.
And if you could have a way, because those kind of move in and out with people pretty well, have something like that could go up and down Kirkwood, I think then you could move a lot of people for events, and you try it out at events, but something like that. Just if there was a space to have some kind of transportation, you know, pedestrian-centered transportation in that area.
I mean, I don't think this precludes that.
Yeah.
Like an ad hoc sort of,
That's the line.
yeah. This is more for private vehicles, is more the, so I don't think this would prevent that from happening.
I think this kind of closure encourages that kind of creative
Yes.
approach to moving large amounts of people around the city, both day to day and for big events. Yeah.
Well, I only ask because I feel like if there was a way to have that language in there in some way, it might get people a little bit more excited about it, saying, hey, there might be some new way to bring a lot more customers downtown that might not, you know, face the traffic otherwise.
Well, that might have to be a separate amendment if we
Yeah.
do decide to add that language. So Alex, you made a motion.
I make a motion to adopt the whereas statement that I read about serving as a model to IU.
Seconded.
And that would be the second
Except
to last.
as a quick, before I say that, should it say Indiana University or Indiana University Bloomington?
Indiana
Say-
University Bloomington.
Say
Okay.
Indiana University Bloomington, and if there was a way to say that working to serve as a model and align with IU, I think that would come off a little bit better, because IU's going into their own transportation planning as well.
Model for and align with.
Yeah, something to that effect.
Okay, I might have to reread this then. Does that make sense?
Because you're thinking about a certain corridor, right?
10th?
I mean, I have stuff like a
We were all thinking about it.
We're all thinking about
Because what, is there any value in
Maybe it's
saying
almost.
that instead of, I don't
think it's just 10th Street. I think that
Yeah.
there's 10th, a bit of Fee, Eagleson.
I think the whole one.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me
7th Street.
started
I was gonna say
on
7th Street
like-
can be pretty bad too.
Yeah, there's several
And they
spots.
have pedestrianized a big chunk of 7th.
Yeah. And it's nice.
Which I was gonna say, I think it's worth.
I took my bike here
Yeah.
through that. The bike lane is closed right now.
I feel like if we just
Very
leave it
annoying.
out, don't specify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
But
you
I think
if we said 10th,
all
that'd
the
be
way
kind
with
of.
that, make it
Yeah.
pedestrian only with bikes, it changes.
Because I think fee
Or
really.
should I propose
Yes.
we make this and then we just motion that we do this and then that gets seconded and then we would discuss the exact language and then we vote? God, I hate these rules.
We already moved and seconded, so we're
It's
discussing,
already-
yeah, we're good.
Who seconded
I
that, by
did.
the way? Okay. What's the current language that you have right now?
Whereas successful implementation of such a change in our community could prove as a model for and align with Indiana University Bloomington to take similar action in some of their core roadways where there is significant pedestrian-motor vehicle interface. Semicolon, and.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I think that's
I
a
think
lot
it
of
still
the,
keeps the attention on Kirkwood, but also
Yeah.
Opens up.
says that.
And this would be
Yeah.
after line 76.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I know.
This would be the
I-
second to last where's clause, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
the align with is good, also Quentin, to your point, I know, talking to the city, that, like, Kirkwood in Indiana is a place of, like, I think that's the place where the most pedestrians get
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Which I understand
that's-
why it's very
Yes, yeah.
chaotic.
Yeah.
But, you know, that is a place that would probably be a city-university alignment to discuss
Yeah.
what to do with that corridor.
Exactly.
it's also a very iconic spot, so
Mhm.
changing anything
Oh,
is
yes,
gonna be a
yes,
thing.
Yes.
Is this state highway there? Because that'll complicate
No.
things.
No, it's
No.
not, thankfully.
Okay.
10
And it is
is-
farther.
There are
State
lots of
highway,
terrible,
most of
terrible intersections and roadways in
After-
this town that are state highway.
After.
Yeah.
And yes, that gets much more complicated, but.
I have a map somewhere, but most of the streets going through the university are city streets, they're not university.
Any other questions or discussions about the proposed amendment?
Nope.
Well, back in the day, Kirkwood used to be open east of Samplegates. I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody had that. You know, I'm old enough to remember.
If you watch Breaking Away, you can see the cars driving
Yeah,
down.
yeah, and then Seventh
Campus.
Street was close by the university, you know, at the auditorium to Eagleson as well. So there is a precedent for having pedestrian.
Grow it. Keep growing it.
Connected.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready to move on to the vote on the
Yes.
amendment? Okay. This is the vote to amend, as Alex had read, and this will be the penultimate whereas clause. It's my word of the day. Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Rowland?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes,
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Amendment is approved unanimously. Okay, so that brings us back to our main discussion on the full resolution. Are there any further discussion or amendments?
Go team.
What's that?
I said go team.
Yes.
Go team.
Good job.
Well, I have one more comment.
Sure.
I'm not sure if it warrants an amendment, because I think it's already very strong, but just something that it made me think of, is that the Public Works recently designated Kirkwood as one of only 3 festival footprints in the city. And I mean, and the other one's the Trades District, and then also the Square, which basically is Kirkwood as well. So it could, I don't know if it's worth adding that as a whereas to strengthen the argument that, like, you know, if you're gonna say this space is specifically dedicated for pedestrian activities of 1,000 people or more, doesn't it make sense to permanently make it accessible?
You said it was Public Works Commission did that?
Public Works,
Okay,
I
cool.
believe,
It's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, I would want his opinion on that.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, if other bodies have referred to this as, you know, their opinion is adjacent to this, then it's great. Great addition.
Does anyone want to propose language to that effect?
So we could just say somewhere, whereas the Public Works Commission has recently declared Kirkwood one of 3 official festival corridors for pedestrian activity?
Festival footprints.
Festival footprints?
For events anticipating 1,000 or more attendees.
Okay. So let me write that. So
It follows to.
so whereas the Board of Public Works, that's the name, right?
Can I interrupt you with
Yes.
a point of order?
Yeah.
That is 7:24.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay.
We were doing so good there.
Yeah.
Would you have an extra 15 minutes if we need it? Okay, thanks.
So so whereas the Board of Public Works has recently designated Kirkwood Avenue as an official festival footprint corridor?
Yes.
Okay.
And that means like a place that is zoned to have a festival? Is that what that means?
It's,
or?
if there is a, basically a public festival that's anticipated to have 1,000 or more attendees, it can only be held in one of these.
In one of those 3 places,
Yeah.
okay.
So the 4th Street, Arts Festival
Mhm.
will have to move, because
Okay.
it's no longer one of those.
So I've got the link, this.
The 4th Street Arts Festival gets to be this year on 4th Street, and then it'll be.
It's probably like a designation person.
It's a, yeah,
so-
it's a, yeah, okay.
It's a designation.
Designation,
yeah.
okay, got it.
So a language, whereas the Board of Public Works has recently designated Kirkwood Avenue as an official festival footprint corridor for public events of 1,000 or more attendees, semicolon and. Where do you want to put it?
I mean,
After yours, that we just did?
oh. I was gonna say, like, shouldn't we say, like, just something more like showing the community importance that this is a
Illustrating.
place
Further
to
strengthening
gather
the
and,
need.
yeah, further strengthening.
I mean,
Further
the-
illustrating.
The reason for the
the-
policy was stated as public safety.
Mhm.
So further illustrating the importance of the corridor for pedestrian, of, yeah,
Safety.
safety and
For
celebration.
use, Yeah.
Safety and celebration.
Pedestrian use, yeah.
Okay.
How about celebration of community?
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Added. So, I move to amend it to do what I just said.
Or-
Yeah, I would second it.
Where do we want to put it?
Oh,
Let's do right after the one he just added.
Okay, so this would then become the.
Yeah.
Penalty.
Who seconded?
Number 3.
Who just said?
Alex
did.
I second it.
Okay.
Okay.
For secretary purposes.
And any further discussion before we move to a vote? Could you give us one more full reading of?
Yeah, so whereas the Board of Public Works has recently designated Kirkwood Avenue as an official festival footprint corridor for public events of 1,000 or more attendees, further illustrating the importance of the corridor for pedestrian safety and celebration of community, semicolon and.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
My
we'll
fast
move-
talking comes in handy.
We'll move on to a vote then for the amendment. Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Sorry, yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Rowland?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. All right, the amendment passes.
Do you want me to make a motion to extend time?
Yeah, that would be good. I was thinking,
I move that we extend our meeting time until 7:45. Is that what you?
yep, I think that's good. So there's a motion to extend to 7:45. Is there a second?
Seconded.
There's a second. All right. Then we'll vote on that. Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Rowland?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. All right, we are extended to 7:45. Thank you, everybody, for staying a little bit later. Okay, so we are back on the main resolution as amended. Is there any further discussion or amendments?
So I was thinking, no.
Out. No. At least we haven't done
Vote to
amendment on
censure
amendment.
Commissioner York.
Yeah.
Is everyone ready to move on to a vote?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is to a vote to pass resolution 2026-03 as amended. Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Rowland?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. All right, the resolution passes as amended. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you. Is this, I would like to, I don't know how this works, but I think we have to vote for me to authorize me to go speak in front of the council just to read the resolution, basically.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So basically, Zach wants to attend this May 20th meeting and speak as a member of the public, but also sort of speak on behalf of the commission as it relates to this resolution. So basically, staying within the lanes of what this resolution says. So I think it'd be good if he's going to say that he's kind of presenting this in sort of an informal way, I guess, to the council
Mhm.
on behalf of the commission, that we would have to vote to allow him to do that. Yeah, I guess.
I move that
Okay.
the case that Zach presents to the council.
I second.
Perfect, and there's a second, great. Is there any discussion or questions about what this entails? Okay, perfect. We'll go through a vote then. Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Sorry, there's a lag, yes.
Yeah, no worries. We got yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Rallo?
Yes.
Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes.
Yes. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes.
Yes. And Russ?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey.
Perfect. Well, thank you for doing that, Zach.
Yeah,
I
the timing of
appreciate
this
that.
is
Perfect.
later than
Very
we
good.
hoped, but
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
very relevant.
Yep. All right, perfect. Well, that brings us on to agenda item 8B, which is resolution.
For my whereas clauses, if I send it to you, Jolie and Zach, is that cool in an email?
That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone who did amended text, please send it to me. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'll have to go back to the recording and transcribe it all.
I just emailed it.
Okay, that brings us to resolution 2026-04 against the use of glyphosate in Bloomington's public spaces and environmental practices. Matt mentioned during public comment that he would be fine if this didn't move forward based on the conversations that we had last meeting and all that discussion. So I just want to note as a process, if we want to do that, we could postpone indefinitely, which basically kills it. Doesn't mean we can never reconsider it. If someone wanted to bring it back sometime, they could, but it would kill it indefinitely. But in order to do that, we have to have someone make a motion and a second, and then we can make a motion to postpone. Does that make sense?
You have to
You can't-
approve it first, yeah. Or vote.
Yeah,
Yeah.
vote to approve it and then vote to postpone. Of course, we also don't have to vote to postpone, but that's just an option. I want to make sure everyone knows how that works. Is there a motion to?
I motion to consider resolution 2026-04.
Perfect. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's a second. Are there any discussions or further motions?
I move to postpone indefinitely.
I second.
Did you want to discuss?
I was
Yeah.
just gonna say one thing quick. That no matter what happens with this, I do want to state that, even after hearing from our experts last month, that I do have concerns about the use of glyphosate. I have concerns about the city use of some of the other herbicides and fungicides that were provided in some of the emails that were lists of what they do use. So I just would like to reiterate that no matter what happens today with this, I do think there is merit. I also think there are merited uses of glyphosate from the city, but it would take more than I think what was written in this to make any full decision. So.
Yeah, and I think that what came out of this process was, it's very clear that the city, while the Parks Department does a reasonable job of being
Mhm.
transparent about their use of pesticides, that is not necessarily true of all city departments that are using pesticides, or departments might contract with groups that are using it, and there's potential for our commission to take up that
Yes,
issue and push for more transparency, more communication from the city when they are using these tools.
Yeah, and I think we had a great discussion too.
Yeah.
I want to say I went into it thinking I was likely going to be opposed to it, and I might be the only person to move this way. Actually, the more research I did, especially because France has a similar thing, and I actually came out a little bit more in favor of it than I thought. I think it needs to be amended and changed. In its current form, I probably couldn't have voted for it, but I think there's a version of it that I could have supported. So procedurally, where are we?
We're considering adoption.
Okay,
right
yeah,
now.
okay.
And you did technically make a motion.
Okay, yeah.
So we're sort of
I
pending
guess we're
that.
kind of in the discussion for that motion.
Okay.
Right, the motion to amend.
Yeah, I guess we technically are.
Suspend
yeah.
indefinitely,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Okay, yeah. Could
So
be
was
wrong.
it seconded?
The-
I will second the
was,
motion.
yeah.
Just
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Alex-
Diana seconded it.
Yeah, but I'm happy to pause for a moment.
Yeah.
Just wanted to, yeah.
Well, and this discussion is valid for either.
Yeah, that's right.
either
Yeah.
nest of the structure.
I think, unless to postpone indefinitely is not debatable, but as the chair, I'll say, I don't remember right now, so it's okay. Any other further discussion before we move to a vote to postpone indefinitely? Okay, then we'll take the vote to postpone indefinitely Resolution 2026-03. Tara?
Yes.
Yes. Justin? Yes. Rebecca?
Yes.
Yes. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes. Zach?
Yes.
Yes. Dave? Yes. Quentin?
Yes.
Yes. Alex?
Yes, but I think they said to.
You said
to-
03, it's 04.
03, it's 04.
Oh, you're right. I apologize.
That's okay.
Was anyone confused about what they were voting for? Does anyone want to change their vote so far?
Just wanted to clarify for public.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
the public
I was gonna say
record,
something
we are,
too.
talking about Resolution 2026-04.
Thank you for
And,
that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Maria?
Yes.
Yes. Diana?
Yes, postpone.
Yes. And Ross?
Yes.
Yes. All right. The resolution is postponed indefinitely. So that brings us to the staff liaison report. Jolie?
Great. Yeah, well, we kind of touched on what I was going to bring up in that there is training for staff liaisons and training for commissioners expected. You know, some of these are to just help coordinate processes, bring processes in alignment with the accessibility laws, which, yes, that while our compliance date has been postponed a year, the city's goal is still to follow the compliance rules. So yeah, I'll just be like in probably in more contact with more updates to like how we should, you know, align our documents with that, and just I don't know, anything that comes out of the trainings that we can all discuss more to understand and be on the same page about any like new guidance or things that you've learned from the trainings. Like that's very much an option that we could discuss in future meetings, just how it affects this commission. So yeah.
Perfect. Cool. Any questions for Julie? All right. We've got a couple minutes left. That brings us to member announcements. Any member announcements?
There is a pedestrianization of Kirkwood tomorrow night.
Oh.
In front of the library. It's a block party thing that is encouraging people to go to local businesses and get dinner and sit in the park. I know there will be a free Zumba class because I know the person who's teaching it. So, you know,
Child programming.
lots of stuff, yeah, and an opportunity to talk to people about, wouldn't it be great if this was all the time? As private citizens.
I know housing is a listed priority of the commission, so I just wanted to share that Hoosier Action is hosting several events that are sort of open to the community to discuss housing practices locally. And so if you want me to send that information out to anyone, if anyone's interested in any of those community conversations, they do some advocacy around housing in Indiana. So.
There is a similar event outside of Friendly Beasts on Friday related to housing in Seminary Square. I'm sorry, what's the apartment there?
Seminary Point?
Yeah.
Seminary Point, yeah, the housing that's slated for potential demolition. People are throwing a block party, there's gonna be music and things like that there. It's relevant to the sort of civic firmament of the moment, I guess, so I thought I'd bring it up in a similar sense. It's about some pretty, it's connected to salient issues of the moment, I guess is what I would say, without trying to endorse any particular perspective.
Nice. Anyone else? Yeah.
Just to say, I appreciate the memo, Zach, that you included in the packet about flock size chickens.
Oh, yeah.
It's you know, the delay has really been just the consequence of lack of council staff, and so we've had to do things that were, you know, prioritized. And,
Yeah.
And so I intend to keep going on that. Probably later in the summer, it'll probably happen, and I need to talk to Animal Care Control about, you know, how they're, you know, whether it requires additional staff or if there's any consequences that would affect the recommendations. Yep.
Anecdotally,
Yeah.
when I had this is me as a private citizen telling you this, I guess. Well, no, member enough. But I had my chicken coop inspected by animal control, and the inspector said, you know, the city's thinking about increasing the flock size. And he said, and I love that idea, so.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, you should still have that conversation, but,
Yeah.
but the animal care and control is aware
They're paying
of this,
attention.
Yeah.
as an option.
Yeah, just wanna make sure before we
Yeah.
proceed that they're at peace with it, because the onus is on them for enforcement.
Mhm.
It's good to know, though, that, you know, they're at least one enforcement officer.
And it's better for the animals, is what he said,
Yeah.
keeps them warmer.
Yeah, well, that's true. The last thing is the final considerations for the Jack Hopkins Social Service Funding. We're awarding a total of $500,000 is May 26th. This is for the committee, on the council committee at 6 p.m. And so we'll make our final considerations then. We had nearly $700,000 in requests. So, you know, it's always difficult to have that process of, you know, not giving people fully what they ask for in many cases, but in any case, I think we're going to be funding nearly all of them, so,
Cool.
and to some degree.
Nice. Thank you. Any other member announcements? All right, new business, there's no new business, so that brings us to adjournment. So we'll adjourn at 7:41. Thanks, everybody.